Hey, everybody. Dick Burnell here with Steve Hage and Von Cameron, our host. We've been doing a series of podcasts on men
and
and
their
our
issues.
And we have the queen of Revelation today,
Oh boy.
Steve Hage's beautiful, talented, anointed wife, who has really made her life as a vessel of revelation about men. She talks to a lot of women why they don't understand men, and she talks to men why we don't understand women. And Steve, brag on your wife a
Well,
little
she's
bit.
got job security because you know, understanding women is very outside of our nature as men, and
You
understanding
never will.
is out. What, babe?
I said you never will.
Yeah, and then and women understanding men, it goes a little counter current to the assembling and construction of a woman. So it has to come, it's got to be introduced to you and clarified to you. And I always say, clarity precedes empowerment.
Right.
So the thing about Danielle that I think is so wonderful is that she has found a way. And in the last 24 months, over 50 million people have watched her content. Why? Because she's found a way to make it clear, which translates into empowerment, to have happy, harmonious, helpful, not hurtful, horizontal relationships with men and women. So we're honored to have her.
Yeah. Yeah, for
and
sure.
Well, Vaughn, you're our host, and
Yeah.
if you want to kick it off by
Well, first, let me say,
Yes.
I'm happy to speak to Pastor Danielle Hage when she preaches when Steve is gone. She speaks to me because she's very logical and lays things out in a very logical way. Steve is heart, she's logic, and it's a perfect complement, both of them. But she has been talking about your relationships for as long as I've known her, and has developed this, wonderful ministry to millions of people who are paying attention to her. But one of the things I think that would be interesting to talk to men about is this concept that she has called different by design. Men and women are different by design. And before we jump into all the different ways they're different, what made you think of that? It's so timely if you think about, the world today, and sometimes the definition of what a man and a woman is gets blurred. But I think this is your point being, different by design really has a lot of meat behind it. And maybe you can explain how you came up with that before we get started.
Yeah. Well, I think you hit it on the nose in our current culture, how the whole woke thing is trying to make us all the same. We're the same. We're the same. Men and women are the same. Women can do what men can do. Men can do what women can do. And they're saying men can have babies. They can get pregnant. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, the stuff that is going on in our culture. And we have to take it back to what the Word of God says, that God created male and female. He didn't create a carbon copy of the male. He didn't create two females, male and female. We are different. Our biology is different. We are different in every way. Why is there this sameness culture going on that we have to be the same when we're not? And I think that's where the frustration lies. We are not the same. And we have to acknowledge that, and then not just acknowledge it, but accept it. And that's where the frustration lies, is like women don't want to accept that men are different. They look at them as defective instead of different by design. So their wiring, their biology, this is the way God designed men.
So you believe a lot of frustration between men and women is due to that misunderstanding?
I think it all comes down to that there's sin in the world. Yeah. But I think just especially in our current culture, this whole, we're the same thing. I think when the whole feminist movement came in, which again is, hundreds of years old, but I think women being hurt by men because men are bigger and stronger, they decided that we have to hate the patriarchy and we can be men. And what I think what women have become over the last few decades and what marriage is designed to be, they don't even go together anymore. And so, because women are trying, because I believe the feminist movement, which I believe is a demonic movement, I believe it came from the pit of hell, and because it's trying to make us the same. And not only the same, but we don't need men. Men are unnecessary. And that's causing a lot of the controversy and the issues, especially in relationships and in marriage, is we have different roles, same value. Men are not more valuable. Women are not more valuable. We have the same value in the eyes of God. We're just different, and for really good reasons. So,
but that doesn't mean you have to be soft. I mean, because I know you don't take any, mess, and so but I mean, I don't want women to, when you speak, you empower women. So I guess today what I'd like to talk about is helping men understand women. And I'll prompt you with one of the 10 things that you laid out before in your teachings. Maybe you can explain. We may not get through all 10 of them, but we'll talk about a few of them here. Maybe you can explain a little bit. So one of them was women connect through emotions. Respect is huge for men.
Yeah.
So how do we as men reconcile that?
Well, I think women, one of the things that I try to teach women is just how important respect is for a man. Just like safety for a woman is so very important, and men have to understand what makes a woman feel unsafe and what makes her feel safe, because if she feels safe, then she can connect, then she'll be vulnerable, and in all the areas of relationship. And what women need to understand about men is that respect is like oxygen. It's the fuel to his soul. And there was a survey done some years ago that said a huge percent, like 80% of men, say they would rather be alone and unloved than to be disrespected.
What?
That's a big deal. Like, respect is huge. And if a man doesn't feel respected, he starts to retreat. He starts to withdraw. And women, if they don't feel connected, they retreat, they withdraw. But a lot of times when a man goes quiet, then women start to talk louder. And then men will receive that as criticism. She's yelling, she's mean, she's mad, and she's just trying to get his attention. So I go into a whole thing about how, I have more women say to me, he doesn't hear a word I say. He doesn't listen to me. And and the reason they think that, they think they feel ignored, is because they don't understand a man's design. They don't understand that men are single focused. And yes, this is generally speaking. In some cases, and especially as we age, some women would be more focused than a man. Your focus has everything to do with our hormones. Again, this is how God designed our biology. Testosterone, men have more testosterone than women, and it's the very thing that drives their single focus. Women normally have more estrogen. It's the very thing that drives their emotions. So, and again, we're just different that way. So men will feel like if or a woman, I always tell them, if you are saying something to a man and he's focused on the computer or on the TV or something at work, you could be standing right there talking to him, and he doesn't hear a word you're saying. It's not because you're not saying it loud enough. He literally, his focus, he's so zeroed in, laser focused on something that he could, and this is a gift that men have, they can tune everything else out. Now, this drives women crazy because we're not good at that. We're so connected to our environment, we don't tune anything out. We hear everything that goes on in our home. I know when water is running somewhere in my home, I'm very connected to my environment. But men, like I always use the example, like my husband can go into a crowded restaurant and he can read a book. He can read a Bible. He can write a whole entire message in a crowded restaurant with people coming up, the waitress or people come by and saying hi. As a woman, I could never do that. I would be so distracted, people watching, listening, looking. I could never do that. And again, it's just how we're designed. It's just how we're made. So I tell women, if you want a man to hear you, first of all, you need to get his attention. And you don't do that by screaming at him. You do it by saying, I hate to interrupt, because men are always focused. Okay. So you're always going to be interrupting. I hate to interrupt. I have some things I want to talk to you about. And guess what? You're not in trouble and everybody's okay. And let me know when the time is right, because timing is everything for men. Timing is everything. And he'll either say, okay, not right now, or I'll get back to you in a few minutes, or, something. But then you wait as a woman until he is ready, and you guys have eye contact, and then you say what you need to say. And the reason you tell him he's not in trouble is because most men think, and you guys can tell me if you believe this is true or not, when a woman says we need to talk, you immediately go, uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
That's exactly what I think.
Right? Uh-oh, what I do wrong? Because men are used to always being in trouble with women.
Danielle, I was watching one of your reels back in the day, and you said something, and I started laughing. You said, girls, stop trying to make your husband or boyfriend your best girlfriend. It'll never happen. Have a best girlfriend. I mean, hang out with you, have your girlfriends, but quit getting frustrated because he doesn't feel the same way you feel about what you're watching in a movie or food or this or that. And it took Carla and I quite a while to like Carla, I'm sorry, I don't cry at movies. I cry when the Warriors lose. Or the 49ers.
Right?
I said, and talk about that a little bit. Why women feel sometimes they get frustrated because you don't get me, do you? And it's like, no, I don't. It's okay.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I don't know if when I started on social media, if I brought more clarity about men and women or more controversy, because one of the most viewed videos I had is exactly what you're talking about right now. And the women went nuts because it ticked them off, because I said the most toxic expectation that women have of men is expecting men to relate to feelings the way women do. Now, I got all kinds of comments, and I didn't say that men don't have feelings. I didn't say that at all. I just said they don't relate to their feelings the way women do. Because for women, our feelings are a breathing test. Our feelings are like another organ in our body. But for men don't trust feelings. They trust, generally speaking, they trust facts. When you want to know about a man, ask him what he thinks, not how he feels. For so many men, they'll be like, how do I feel? Like, it doesn't matter how I feel. The point is, I have to do this regardless of how I feel. But ask a man, what he stands for, what he values, what kind of facts does he trust? And you'll learn more about who he is. But the reason that frustrates women is because we want to turn men into women. And this is.
Let me ask you maybe the opposite way.
Okay.
My wife's name is Kay, for all you guys out there that don't know that. If I realize Kay is interested in in connecting emotionally, what should I do?
If you know she's interested in that?
No, if I know that, like, I'm on the computer, like you said,
okay,
and she's got she wants to connect, about some emotion that she has. Now she's been under your teaching forever, but what should I do in response to that? Okay, I'll get with you in a moment, or drop what as a man, what should I do to support her? Because, I love her and I want to make sure that she's happy. I don't want her upset, but I want to work it from the other angle too. I want her to recognize that, hey, I'm focused on something right now, but at the same time, I want to be responsive to her.
And I would think that depends on what it is you're focused on. If you can drop it and say, oh yeah, I can talk, I'll get back to this. Or you say, I cannot right now, but I hear you. Give me another 20 minutes and I'll get to you. You know, I mean, I would just communicate and don't ignore. Don't just, don't
Because
say,
usually, sorry to interrupt, but I'm never going to get a word in, but because Daniil's on the call, but usually you're doing great, babe. Usually the focus, besides a game or whatever, but like when you're focused on whatever you're focused on, it's not for you. It's for the family. It's to protect and provide. If I'm focused, if I'm on calls, if I'm whatever, if I'm even talking to Bishop about scripture, I'm preparing myself. I'm getting tools. I'm downloading things into myself that is going to translate into protect and provide. And so when there's an interruption to connect emotionally, when I'm busy being about my purpose and my design, I can with confidence say, look, put a comma right here. And I want to hear this, but what I'm doing right now is for all of us. And so I think that that's where if women will understand that the reason why we're single focused isn't for us, and so we can ignore them, it's for all of us, so I can provide and protect, and everyone benefits from my single focus.
So when you watching the Lakers play the Warriors,
that's not what I'm talking about. Even though I need to recreate,
right?
okay, but see, here's the
just
thing.
constantly be doing stuff. But Daniil knows better. If it's the NBA playoffs right now, don't talk to me. You're a widow. Go upstairs and watch the Hallmark Channel, because I'm on the phone with Bishop. I'm on the phone with Vaughn. Did you see that shot? Don't come up in here and ask me if I want cream cheese frosting or chocolate frosting. I don't care. Just give me a piece of cake and get out of here, because this is important business, you know. So
Okay, so here's where the problem lies.
all right,
Danielle, I got to ask you a question because
Okay.
don't forget what you're going to say.
knowing that we're going to be talking, I did a little research on women, and I asked this question, chat, whatever that's called.
GPT.
Yeah, there you go. I said 10 things women hate, and number one was to be called crazy, and to like slam the door and peel off. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
'Cause when men get overwhelmed with PMS or menopause or what emotional, panic attack, we don't know how to fix it. So you're crazy. Not that I've ever done that, but I've read.
But we've heard
about people.
and what they're really saying is we're experiencing you as crazy because men wouldn't respond to a situation like that. But it makes perfect sense to their girlfriends. But go ahead, babe. You're the expert.
Just to add to what you were saying, Steve,
Yeah.
the problem with that is that men are always single focused, always. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's not just they're being focused on work. They're focused on going from the kitchen to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So they don't see what's in the way. They step over dirty laundry. They step over dirt. They step over the suitcase that the wife wants them to put away.
Yeah.
Because they're focused from the kitchen to the bathroom. They're on a hunt. And all of that stuff in the way is irrelevant to the destination. So for women, like Steve, I constantly interrupt you, Steve. I always am interrupting you because you are always on the phone, or you're in front of the TV watching a game, or you're working out. Like, you're always focused on something. I have to interrupt or I will never speak to you. So that's where the frustration is. So if a man wants to be sensitive to a woman, there's going to be some things that he has to be willing to be interrupted and say, yes, okay, what is it that you need? And Steve, hats off to you. You're really good at this, because I will come in the house and you'll be right in the middle of a really good movie. And I'll say, I got to talk to you. And you'll go, wait. And I love that we're
about to find out who killed him.
We have pause on the TV. That is the best thing that technology ever came up with. I always say, pause it. You can get right back to it. But men hate that.
Well, one of your list of 10 things was, which I was headed towards, was
Okay, wait.
Oh,
Sorry. I'm going to interrupt you.
So the
I wanna
crazy
answer
question.
Dick's
Men are
oh,
crazy.
question real quick.
sorry.
Yes. Okay,
He's
so
single
something
focused. Don't mind him. Go ahead.
something that I've noticed about men is whenever a woman is angry or sad or emotional or is not in agreement, men will call her crazy. Okay. I remember Steve and me having a discussion. I didn't agree with him. I wasn't crying. I wasn't even mad. I wasn't yelling. I just said, no, I disagree. And he left the house that night. He said, you're hysterical. And I went, that's hysterical. I didn't raise my voice. I said, oh, I'm hysterical because I'm not in agreement with you. If you want to see hysterical, I could show you hysterical. Are you ready? Because that's not it. But I thought it was so interesting that he called me hysterical. And I laughed about that. I told my women's seminar.
And now you're telling everyone on this
it.
podcast. Thank you very much.
I said,
Hey,
isn't it interesting? And I think the reason for that is because men, and this is kudos for you guys, men are really sensitive to women. Like women want to say that men are insensitive. They are not. Men are very sensitive to women and their needs and their emotions. Now, they might not relate to their emotions, but they're sensitive. Like I have more men saying to me, well, if I say that to her, it'll upset her. And I'll say,
go ahead.
why, what? So what if she gets upset? What then?
I have
Well, I
one
don't want her
question.
to be upset.
I have one more question, and it's been bugging me because my sister Juanita, she shared this at our staff meeting. She was telling her husband about this problem, and she's halfway through, and he goes, I got it. She goes, I'm not finished. He goes, oh, I got it. She goes, no, you don't have it. Number one, you can't fix it. I just want to tell you about it and get it off my chest. And he's looking at her like,
then why are you telling me?
She goes, because
Basket
I need
emptying.
you to hear why I'm
We're
going through
fixers.
this. I just want you to
Yes.
Not
listen.
listeners.
I just want you to listen, give me a hug, and we'll let God fix it.
Yeah, men
Yes.
are listening for the problem or the point or whatever. I don't know.
Yes. And that's one of the biggest differences and one of the biggest frustrations for men is they have a really hard time listening to a woman talk about a problem, especially if she is upset, and then she won't listen to his solution. But see, so that's frustrating for a man. But on the woman's side, women connect verbally. Okay, we connect through talking. Again, it's our biology, it's the way we're designed, it's not our fault. So when we are talking and we see that you are listening, we're connecting, we're tight, we're bonding, we are so close. And what does connection do for a woman? It makes her feel safe. And what does safety do? It makes her be vulnerable and uninhibited, especially when it comes to the bedroom, guys. Just have to say it.
Yeah, we like that.
All works
That's
out
good.
for you in the end. Okay. But so if she feels safe, and a lot of times what I will tell women is when you have something you want to talk about, you just want to vent. You want to process. There is no solution. You're not even looking for a solution. You just need to vent because it gets everything out of you. Men have a hard time listening to women vent, but that is how they process. They process verbally. Men process internally, generally speaking. Okay. For me and my husband, he is a verbal person. He is very wordy, way more wordy than I am. Okay. And he's an emotional man. So we're a little different. Like Vaughn, you said, I'm kind of more logical. Steve is the more emotional one.
Thanks for that, Vaughn.
Lots of couples.
I said you were hard.
That. It's just these guys are preachers, so they are emotional and they do have some feminine energy going around. They're creative, they're preachers, they're talkers. So that's normal. It doesn't mean they're not masculine men, but they have a lot of that feminine energy. That feminine energy is the creator, the poetic, storytellers, writers, journalists, people, those, artists, all that stuff. That's feminine energy. Doesn't mean men can't do those things. You see lots of men in those fields that are masculine, but that's just the part of their feminine energy. Anyway, I'm
well, I mean, you've said this before, and I've heard it. I've been in one of your classes that you've had, and for a while, years ago, I would ask, hey, are you just emptying your basket? I mean, is that what's going on right now? And so now I've gotten to where I can sense when she's trying to empty her basket, or she's trying to tell me something that I need to fix or solve, or I can discern the difference. But it took
Good.
years to figure that
Smart.
out. And I don't know that I'm 100% there, but I think that's a great practical thing for
Yes.
men to understand is when your wife needs her basket emptied, or does she really want you to go build a fence around the house
Right.
or something like that? Right?
Right. And what I tell women, because men are bottom liners, they don't need all those details. And that's why, Dick, what you were saying, your sister was saying to her husband, she was giving him all the details, and he's just like, I got it. Now let me tell you what to do. Like, men are bottom liners. And I tell women, if you want to have good communication and you want to keep a man's attention, tell him what the problem is in as few words as possible. He doesn't need the details. If he wants more detail, let him ask. Save the details for your girlfriend, for your mom, for your sisters. Okay, they love details. Women love details. You know why? Details, for some reason, make women feel safe. Okay, they're really into that. Men, just tell me, just clear, give me the bullet points, bam, bam, and we're done. And so, again, it's the difference between men and women. So, Vaughn, you saying you can kind of discern, like I'll tell women, when you have something to tell your husband, set him up to win. Tell him, I need your ears. I don't need any solutions. I just need your ears. Or I do have a problem and I need your input. And that way they know what to expect. Okay, do they know what to expect? And again, that to me is just good communication.
Very good.
We got
good. Bishop, you're trying to say
120
something?
We got 120 seconds, so we need to bring
Oh, my
Danielle back.
goodness, that went by fast.
God, this is.
Could barely scratch
I'm
the
learning,
surface.
and I'm married to Gandhi. So go ahead, Vaughn. One more question, Danielle. You need to answer
Well,
in 60
I think
seconds.
maybe Danielle, maybe you can help me with this, but what I'm hearing you say, and I'm also thinking about men and how they approach or with their wives or their significant others. Women need assurance or reassurance, and they need safety. And for men to know that, yes, we're focused and all of that, problem solvers and all that good stuff, but don't forget to provide that reassurance back to your wife. Don't forget to come back to her and say, okay, hey babe, hey, what was it you're trying to tell me? Let's talk about it. So don't, yes, women need to understand that we're different, and men need to understand that too.
Yes.
And I just think there are some practical things men can do to make sure that the relationships are effectively complementing each other the way they're supposed to.
Yes, I think. Okay, so something just happened last week with Steve and I. I was telling him about some comments that I had gotten on social media that were very derogatory. And I said, and I didn't know if he was really paying attention. I mean, he's sitting there. But I said, someone said this and someone said that, and they couldn't believe I was a pastor and that I'm unbiblical and I'm taking women down the wrong road. And I said, wow. And it didn't really, I wasn't upset. I was just like, wow. And so I don't know if he heard it or not, but the next morning I wake up to a text message from him and said, you know what you were saying yesterday? This makes me emotional. He said, here's some scriptures that back up what you were saying. He said, you don't have to listen to those people. He goes, what you're saying is very biblical. And it wasn't the scriptures that he gave me, which I loved, but I was like, so he thought about that all day yesterday and last night. And in the morning, went and looked up scriptures. And I felt so supported, so heard by him. Like, he didn't need to do that. And I was just like, thank you, honey.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. That is
That's
so
awesome.
cool,
I got those
so
scriptures from Bishop, by the way. Remember I called you? I'm like, what about this kings and priests and queens? And you're like, oh, so yeah. Anyway,
but he was being supportive and reassuring. And on the other side, that this is where those differences come. Men need freedom. They need to have their space. And a lot of times women can be suffocating to men. Like, where are you going? What are you doing? What time are you going to be home? Well, you said you're going to be home at that time. Well, what did you do then? What's next? And we ask all these questions, right? And a lot of times men feel interrogated by us, but we love those details. It's not that we don't trust you. We love the details. I do this to Steve all the time. Where'd you go to eat? What'd you have to eat? What's going on with him or her or whoever you're talking to? I love those details. My son tells me last week, he's 45 years old. He said, I went camping all by myself, like out in the wilderness. I go, all by yourself? He goes, yeah. Because I go, why? Like, to me, I can't even fathom being alone for days in the wilderness by yourself. He goes, no, I just had to clear my head. I was listening to this and that. And I'm like, wow, that's just so different to me. But men like their space. They like their freedom.
Yeah.
And women need to honor that. And
Yeah.
again, it's not because they want to be away from you as a woman. It's just, this is, again, some of the ways that men are designed differently.
Honey, we're going to have to
Very
bring
good.
you back because this was no way enough time, but we are out of time.
Okay.
And but thank you so much. You're brilliant. I'm so proud of you. I didn't listen to one thing you said, but it was really great for everybody else. No, you were great. So proud of the well of resource that you are to people living in happiness and harmony. So, Vaughn, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Jubilee Legacy folks. Sow a seed into this ministry if you think about it, if you're so inclined. Ways to give are on the screen, and we love you. Daniil, I'll be home on Monday. Take care of our church. Vaughn, cover our church for me. And Bishop, any final words?
I totally agree that we just scratched the surface of
Yeah.
the wealth of information and blessing that Daniil has. So we will
We'll work
definitely-
it out.
We'll work it out. Yeah.
Thanks, hon.
Thanks,
Enjoy.
guys, for having
Thanks,
me.